approximately 20 kilowatts. It's a 30 kilowatt electric motor, and which is giving an excellent range. So what basically SOFC is doing, it's taking any fuel like ethanol, methanol, gasoline or diesel on board. This is very, very important. And on board it is reforming into hydrogen. So there is no need to storage hydrogen on board. Okay, so hydrogen is generated by means of a catalyst, and that hydrogen mixed with CO, this is very, very important, which is called as a syngas, is fed over a stack and which will generate the electricity. So here CO is also acting as a fuel. Okay, so the cost of the platinum is getting ruled out over here because you are using nickel as a catalyst. And another challenge with pen, that platinum get poisoned because of the CO. And in Indian application point of view, we are full of CO and CO2, especially in the environment. So it is going to damage the pen. So in our context also, this kind of technology is very important. So why Nissan has used to launch in Brazil? Because of availability of abundant ethanol. And now there is a trend that instead of using ethanol as a fuel into IC engine, let's generate hydrogen from the ethanol using SOFC and use it so that it will be more clean. Okay, so this is how the trend is going on. So right now in Indian context, we are, I think, we are leapfrog from BS4 to BS6 emission norms, and all major OEMs right now, they are involved in meeting BS6 technology. Also there will be CAFE norms, means fuel economy norms, which are coming from 2020 and 21 onwards. That means there will be certain targets given to meet a certain fuel economy. That means kilometers per liter. I think their hybridization or electrification makes sense, so that existing engines will get further life. Otherwise there is always debate that whether IC engines are going to remain or they are going to die. So through electrification, partial electrification or hybridization, okay, IC engines still stay can till 2050. But the trend shows that after 2050, all vehicles will be either EVs or HEVs or FCVs. 100% use of IC engine will not be there after 2050. So I think it's just an overview of the technological trends in automotive engineering, considering the present global emissions, CO2 emissions, global warming impact, and fossil fuel depletion, and what is the trend of electrification, the realistic trend of electrification. Okay, so with this I would like to conclude my topic, and if in afternoon, if I get an opportunity, I would like to put on what are the various avenues, okay, available for all young engineers, what are various engineering disciplines, what are the skill sets required, okay, to become part of this global movement of not only electrification, but I will call it as advanced mobility engineering. Okay, thank you very much.
Dr. Sunil TS from Tata Service Limited to present.
Here, I can't hear you at all. How is the Josh? Excellent. You know, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, and it's it's my privilege to be here. And I know Professor Seshu, I know him for a long time, and Dr. Adendu, I have worked with him. I had the privilege of working with him and working under him as well. He was my super boss in GE Consumer and Industrial. So very glad to be here. So just wanted to walk you through some of the nuances, or if you can call it as, or features of Tata Innovers, which is the group-wide program of Tata company. And there are three holding companies at the top: Tata Sons, Tata Services, and Tata Industry, which is famously called as SSI. And I belong to Services, which essentially is again at the group level. So we launched this Open Innovation Program about 3 years back, close to 3 years back. And we have been very proud of the achievement which the team has made, and really good to see the involvement of students in our journey of creating solutions and creating and accelerating innovation across Tata Group companies. So I would like to start with a video on Tata Innovers.
But it's a serious investment that is strategic in magnitude and relevant to business. Assimilation of new knowledge and new technologies continues to usher progress. Are you exploiting the new potential problem solving that Tata Innoverse can bring to your doorstep? With nearly 2,000 postgraduates and PhD, the Tata Innoverse platform has over 11,000 solvers, ready to unleash their human ingenuity to solve your business problems.
They are bringing a solution not from the steel industry, but from the other sectors that we can use to solve our own problems.
Companies that do not have in-house research and design facilities can today very efficiently leverage Tata Innoverse. Ones that have R&D facilities too can leverage Tata Innoverse.
Going ahead with Tata Innoverse is a great thing because it either gives you a solution from people whom you otherwise would not have been in touch, or it lets you know that you are already at the leading edge. We have a very strong improvement culture in terms of, and 90-95% of the problems can be solved in time. But now question is what about those 5%, which may be a very big problem in future or very relevant problem currently, and we are unable to solve the problem.
The Tata Innoverse team has gained an elevated insight.
These are problems which are, at least for us, are not easy answers. If those were easy answers, we would have solved them some time back.
The only barrier to starting leveraging Tata Innoverse could be the blind spots in identifying real technical problems and dilemma of how much information to share towards defining the problem.
The challenges are curated, the solutions are curated from start to end, right? And the solutions are seen and felt by the challengers.
The Tata Group, with its scale, diversity and size, is poised to benefit its companies from an open innovation program. With over 100 companies, Tata Group can attract the best scientists, startups, researchers and partners to solve a wide range of complex problems.
Technologies are developing across the world. There is always a possibility that the problems that existed for last several years, there is a technology now which can solve them. Tata Innoverse program is helping us build capability for innovation.
Today, 17 companies are meticulously pursuing Tata Innoverse. We are standing on the threshold of a vast opportunity to benefit from the Tata Innoverse platform to solve real technical problems. We believe that leadership can usher a new awakening and leverage the collective strength of one Tata. The glorious past of 150 years has set the expectation for us all to break new barriers for the next 150 years.
Posting the problems and challenges from companies to the external world, and through the external world we gain solutions and then give it back to the companies. And the one difference which I want to highlight amongst all the open innovation programs which are out there, and there are many as well, if you have noticed, there is Innocentive, there is Nine Sigma, and even in India there are companies like IdeaCan, IdeaPo, which actually just take the challenges from companies and put it out to the external world and give you and ask for solutions. And because the challenges are very tough, the solutions are bound to be innovative. And that's another underlying thing which we actually go after. We don't go after the innovation, we go after the solution. And the solutions, because of the nature of the problem, will have to be innovative. And even before it becomes innovative, it is different. And it is unique in its own way, as I said in the video. So I'm not going to go through all the agenda line items which are listed out here. I would quickly move to not really going into the history of open innovation. And you can see that open innovation actually started with UK government launching a parliamentary act just to launch a problem to the external world. And this was to actually to everybody's surprise, this particular challenge, which was actually at those times was for about 20,000 pounds, and a joiner on the ship actually solved this problem by using the lunar distancing method and developed what you can see on the image here called a chronometer. And the things go on. This is about building the first aircraft which flew non-stop from New York to Paris. a hotelier, Ortig, actually launched this challenge, and then for only $25,000. And you can imagine, the person standing very proudly in front of his aircraft, called Charles Lindbergh from St. Louis, actually built the aircraft from scratch, and he flew non-stop from New York to Paris, and he won the award of $25,000. In today's world, it could touch about $500,000. And P&G cannot be really eliminated when you talk about open innovation. They are the biggest beneficiaries, and of course it was formalized by Henry Chesbrough in 2003 by publishing a book on open innovation. So I'm not going into the details here. So essentially we need the seeker and solvers coming together to solve a challenge of a company, and it's basically open innovation or openness in and for open innovation, and we should not restrict to ourselves. There is so much out there in terms of human ingenuity, and we need to cash on that, and that's the underlying principle of open innovation. So NASA, again another biggest beneficiary of open innovation. They have launched many student challenges, and the latest which they closed in October 2018 was to put the solar panels on Mars to power their own space missions. And General Electric has been part of it, and if that is not enough, there are so many other companies which are practicing open, and they have stopped looking inwards for solutions. They are looking outwards to fetch solutions for them, and that's the power of the human potential or ingenuity out there. Why not Tata? And with that, we started the program in 2016. Of course, we started thinking about it in 2008, and it took almost 8 years to make it a reality. And that's when, around June 2016, I joined. And diversity in India, it mostly means gender diversity, but it's not so. It's actually everything, no bar. Geography, caste, religion, technology, domain, people, academics, startups, freelancers, individuals, scientists, retired professionals. Anyone can actually contribute in solving. And of course, there is something for everyone in terms of solving the challenges, right? If you participate in solving a challenge, you will get a cash award, and likewise, the companies. So, talking about what we do, this is what we do. We actually look at connecting global solvers to Tata companies, and Tata companies expose themselves in terms of the challenges that they have with them. So, any process, any program should have an underlying process, and this is exactly what we have as a process. Again, devil is in the details. It looks very simple, but there are complexities within as well. And just wanted to show you the footprint of Tata companies which are participating, and virtually everyone sitting out here can become our partner in solving the challenges, including the dignitaries representing the companies here. ARAI is in Pune, so we would like to leverage their help as well. And there are challenges from these companies, and we are looking at about 100 plus challenges. What you saw in the video was slightly outdated, and we have the updated numbers here. So we are really talking about 18,000 users or registered users on our website, and solutions actually come from around 2,000 solutions have come in, and we have almost the same number of active solvers with us. And till date, we have completed 37 POCs. And of course, a dozen in the pipeline as well. And as you can see, we partner with a lot of companies, and very soon I would like to see the logos of different companies here, as well as IIT Dharwad. Another way of looking at the same data, and here is something very interesting for the students to look at. And we conduct solver hunts, and in fact, we have just closed for this year's solver hunt, which is basically a campus event conducted at 4 zones within India, and we have completed 2 editions already. And this is the face of our Mr. Innovers, the mascot that we use to get out and see see and meet the students. We do have tied up with IIT Bombay in the past in the Tech Fest. We have another company called ResearchGate. We have experimented with them as well. It's a European-based gateway to a lot of experts and domain experts out there. And this is another Crucible Hackathon, which I think some of you might have seen on the Crucible Hackathon webpage. Crucible is a quiz competition within Tata's, and 2 years back, in fact, they started looking at us, Tata Innovers team, to come out with problem statements, and they wanted to actually create what was called as hackathons. This is unique because we don't actually look at 24-hour schedule or 48-hour continuous hands-on. We actually give a month time to the students to come up with solutions, and we just finished that also in the recent months, and we have completed all the 3 zones, and we have also announced the winners. So if you are interested, you can actually go onto the webpage and take a look at the winners out there. So this is how we publicize for and this is a gateway for startups to come in and register, giving their portfolio, giving their services on the website, and we actually get in touch with them. And you can see that there are already lots of companies which are registered on our website. Some of the sample challenges, again, I would encourage all of you to go into the webpage called tatainovers.com, and there is, as I said earlier, there is something for everyone out there, be it mechanical, chemical, metallurgy, because Tata is a diverse company. And we always say that we make from salt to steel to software to cars. And domain-wise, there is no restriction. Diversity, absolutely the essence of Tata Group. So I would encourage all of you to look at the Tata Innovers webpage and see for yourselves. And if you look at these challenges, please understand that these are engineering, these are technically rich challenges. These are not things which are like not undermining though IT, code crunching or number crunching programs. These are real engineering problems and requires engineering mindset to solve these problems. And again, we don't normally encourage ideas unless the idea has got the potential to become a solution. So we need the solution, and that's when we look at, and these are some more challenges. In fact, we have season 7, which we have already launched. Right now, as we speak, yesterday we launched season 7 challenges, and this is what you have as season 6. Again, examples of proof of concept, right from counting to characterization to weight measurement to thermal imaging for chimney inspection to printing brand logos to leakage detection of edible oil cans, rooftop dust measurement, the pyrophoricity reduction, inspection of sheets, low-cost engine inspection. This is ongoing with IIT Kanpur. And then leather inspection, as well as some of the chemical challenges of how to leach coal. So this is our website. If you are interested in looking at how to participate, it's actually a very simple way of registering, and you actually can build the POCs yourselves and bring it to what we call as the solution portfolio. And all this is possible for you to submit online. And once you submit online, we review it, and then we get in touch with you if the idea is very interesting. As well, we come back to you and say that what can be improved to make it a complete solution. So with that, I think I overshot by 10 minutes. So apologies to the organizers. So thanks very much for once again, and I leave it to the organizers now.
I would like to request Mr. Arun Kumar Ramakrishnan from General Motors to present. Please give him a round of applause.
I think I am the last presenter in this time. It's okay, but I feel people are more tired. Try to be more informative, useful to you. I am very happy to be here. I am a student of Professor Seshu at IIT Bombay, 2008. I did my master's, and the project was sponsored from General Motors. Again, sponsorship was Professor Seshu, and I worked under him. And again, I am very thankful that I am able to represent General Motors. It's a very good company. It's close to, 120 years old. And the good thing about the company is the value it provides, and how it treats the people, and how it helps young engineers to really contribute. The message, why safety? Because General Motors wants safety as the first and primordial objective in each activity what it does. So without any safety protocols, even a meeting cannot start. So the meeting organizer has to tell how you have to evacuate in terms of an fire or emergency of way. So what GM is committed? It is committed to a future of zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. So these three statements, I think it's not very easy. There are a lot of thought process went in to come out with these statements. So zero means that there is no crash which can happen with the GM vehicle, not even a one. Okay. So how to do that is what the GM is striving. Zero emissions. So any engine you take, it is going to emit. Even if you go to hybrid or anything, it is going to emit. So zero emissions and zero congestion, which is not thinkable in India. Even if you come to Bangalore, it will be bumper to bumper traffic. So I don't know, probably zero congestion statement it is applicable not for India but other countries. Okay. So what we value, so we value our customers. Customers can be, we keep the customers at the center of everything. So each interaction matters. Again, if I am coming and representing GM here, you are all customers because I am trying to provide information about the GM. So I should understand each interaction. The excellence. Again, I think all the dignitaries have spoken about the innovation, what it is need. So I like the statement. We have the courage to do and say what is difficult. So we don't take it's probably the statement wise I am trying to interact. So we are driven by ingenuity, which are not reasonable, we are not going to work. So which are imaginable and which is achievable, those things are being focused by GM. And the third one is the relationship. So everything works on not on individuals, so always a teamwork and always how people interact or the companies interact or how the information flows across everyone and how we behave. So these are actually these are given as a cap goals, like how we should do in our ratings are dependent on these parts. Even mine also, I need to select one of them and show like I try to innovate something or I try to think in terms of customers. So the main thing I want to stress in this is be bold. So GM has probably the way of culture, the be boldness. Anyone, it doesn't treat like you have joined as a PGET or GET. So you can always walk up to the director and say, hey, I have this idea. Or always you can say the proposal which is going on has a safety concern. Or it is not economically viable. Or something is wrong. You have the right to speak. Nobody can stop. Or if suppose some managers or supervisors are trying to act against you because you are complaining against them, there is a separate setup which takes care of that. So be bold is in the DNA of GM, and also it also takes that it's on me. You should own whatever thought process or whatever design ideology you are going to put forth. And this is one of the statements our CEO is telling. So please read it. I believe the auto industry will change more in the next 5 to 10 years than it has in last 50 years. So there is going to be tremendous change. What is going to occur, as I think the RI, Dr. Dignity has already mentioned. So electrification, autonomous cars, connected cars, and whatsoever remains are going to be the future. So IC engines is going to take the secondary or the back seat. Okay. So General Motors has already launched electric vehicles. So this is one of the bold, which has already sold 2 lakh cars in US and across companies. And the other statement is, the major statement is that they are going to launch 20 new all-electric vehicles by 2023. This is a bigger milestone, and also GM Cruise is being seen here. So they are trying to automate driverless cars. Why driverless cars? So it can run 24 hours. A single car, probably Ether Energy might be working on this also. So a single car can serve 10 customers. It need not wait. It always runs. Okay. So GM also worked in the Maven, which is a ride sharing. You call, the car will come and at your service, and it drops you and it takes another customer and go. So you need not do any. You need not have a parking. So it will be running all the way. 24 hours it can run, and so it helps in congestion. So you avoid the congestion. That's what the GM is trying to do. How we do? It's all the representative things. So we focus on the existing thing and then add product safety. Connected tech is going to be the next future, and new materials, energy, sustainable energy. It's not the conventional energy what we get from OPEC nations, and shared mobility. Okay, now this is the company where I am working. Technical Center India is part of GM. It's not a separate entity, and the guy is working in GM DCI has already contributed 398, you can say 167 patents and tool metal secret. So why this slide is important? GM gives this much time for the engineers to work. It's not always the work. So this gives time for the engineers to think and research on that idea, whatever you have, and you focus, and you have a cap goal associated with these things. And this is our technical center right here. It is at ITPL, Bangalore, Whitefield, and so yeah, that's it. These are all the departments we have, and we have a great CSR team. Apart from the work, there are quite number of people who help in and around Bangalore for educating the kids, as well as providing like tree plantation or like helping the deprived people nearby. So it's like what we get from the people, we have to give something back to people. That's what the company strives. So I'm again thanks Professor Sheshu sir for giving this opportunity, and all the audience. And thanks. We'll meet again in the afternoon.
Thank you, gentlemen, for all your presentations. Let's break for high tea now and meet back in 20 minutes. That is about 11:45. And I request all the students to leave from the back. Thank you.
Young engineers like you should be looking at what is their experience and so on. I have a list of about your own career journey.
Good morning, guys. So my name is Sunil. I started my career way back in 2000 after I finished my PhD in manufacturing engineering from IIT Bombay. My thesis topic was intelligent CNC manufacturing using artificial neural networks. So you can imagine, you can actually see that AI is actually not new. It is just take a new genesis, new form, a new shape when you look at AI today. So we'll go back to that in a bit. So I was fortunate enough to work with biggest conglomerates like General Electric, and that too in their core research and development research center in Bangalore. It had just started in 2000, so I joined the company on February 21st, 2000. I remember that date very well, and it was my first job, so to say, but I had worked as a lecturer in engineering colleges before, and I worked with IIM Ahmedabad as well for about 6 months before I embarked on my PhD journey. So as you might know, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I finished my master's in production engineering systems technology from NIE Mysore. And then I went on to work for a year and a half, and finally took up a PhD course in IIT Bombay. So I was actually working around CAD CAM those days, CNC, CAD CAM, When I joined General Electric, I was called as mechanical engineer because in General Electric we don't believe in designations those days, and even now I believe. There are no special affiliations like you are an assistant manager or a senior manager, etc. Although a lot of Indians would want to be called themselves as different designations. So, but General Electric doesn't believe in that. So we were called simply mechanical engineers, and of course GE India later on changed those designations, and I was called as a lead engineer to cater to some of the aerospace related challenges, aircraft engines related challenges. So I was working with GE aircraft engines in Cincinnati, and we were looking at few problems with manufacturing and inspection. Their main focus those days was to look at accurate inspection, be it NDT, which is non-destructive technique based, or geometrical inspections. So we worked with GE aircraft engines in Rutland, which is again very close to Albany, which is in the New York State. I had the opportunity to visit aircraft engines plants in Rutland as well as in Cincinnati. So it was quite overwhelming for me, quite exciting for me to look at those and also experience the challenges firsthand. So through some of these focus areas, we did generate a lot of solutions. And these solutions, because of the nature of solving the challenges, were patented as well by General Electric. So we were fortunate to associate ourselves with some of the brightest minds from aircraft engines of General Electric in the US, and we filed 3 to 4 patents just revolving around inspection technology and manufacturing technology. Things as simple as, now it is simple because the milestone has been crossed. The CAD-based NDE inspection, CAD-based eddy current inspection itself was so novel and unique for in those days that they had to file a patent because we wanted to protect. Part marking systems, again a CAD-based part marking system to enable repair of engine blades was another challenge. But these had in its own capacity lots of challenges. Because when you talk about eddy current inspection, I still remember my dialogue with the plant engineer and my own boss from GE Global Research in the US. They actually told us that, look, you guys are coming here and saying that you can solve this problem, but we have already burnt our fingers with this in this particular area. And they were very hesitant to fund. Those days Global Research, and I think today as well, works on a business model that you go and pitch it to the companies like aircraft engines, energy, healthcare, etc., and they will fund you in terms of research funding. So Global Research was always looked upon as epitome of intelligence and research potential. So they used to actually fund us. So we started with a mere funding of $10,000 and took it all the way to $200,000 and about 6 to 7 engineers working on that program. So things could look very small, very minuscule, but it can actually grow, and it will have the potential to grow to an extent of big programs. So I'm sure my colleagues here also would share the same thing. And post that I went into a specific business called as GE Security, and I was the quality leader for that, and that's where I had the opportunity to work with Abdul as my super boss. We did a lot of program management for the GE Security. I was the global program manager for a program called as Atlas. I spent about 3 months in Australia, generating or garnering support for the program that involved Australians and Europeans and Americans. Quite a challenge that involved multitudes of culture. You might have noticed or know that in terms of culture, Europeans and Australians are very extreme. So Netherlands was the hardware manufacturing center, and Melbourne we had the software guys who were actually developing the code. And one argument I still remember is to have or not to have a co-processor on a board. and that took almost like a few weeks to decide on whether we need a co-processor or not. So why I am talking about is this one is because you will be exposed to multiple cultures, and you should actually have the goal of getting to the common agenda, and then only you will be able to focus on what you want to achieve rather than getting lost in the rigmaroles of the sensitivity in terms of culture, etc. Fortunately or unfortunately, the GE Security decided to sell this particular business unit to UTC, which is another US conglomerate called as United Technologies, which is not known to many people as United Technologies. It's actually an aircraft engine manufacturing company called as Pratt & Whitney. It is actually a UTC Fire and Security. It is a carrier air conditioning manufacturing company, Otis Elevators manufacturing company. They had until 2017-18 Sikorsky helicopters as their the product, and of course they have aerospace in the form of Goodrich and Hamilton Sundstrand, and now they have acquired Collins aerospace as well. So now I think they are going into another wind of company splitting and stuff like that. That's a separate discussion. So that was my I think second company, if you want to call it, for almost 5 years. Again, from 2010 to 16, we were looking at various things, including product regulatory compliance for Asia, as well as quality management for UTC, because I was anyway looking at quality in GE. They actually also handed me the quality responsibility for UTC as well. And before I left UTC to join Tata's in 2016, I was managing their design and analysis team for carrier air conditioning, which was primarily targeted towards North America. So analysis, design, analysis, and also component engineering for carrier as well as fire and security was my role. And then I was looking for opportunities to do things differently or different things, and I moved to Tata's because this opportunity of leading the open innovation for the entire Tata group came in, and I took this up with my open arms, essentially because I love problem solving, and what could you ask for? This was right in the midst of problems and challenges, and we were able to, as you saw, solve a lot of challenges for companies. And this has been the journey for the past 3 years. We have come close to around 40 solutions and POCs developed. Out of that, about 10 of them are in the pilot stage, and again another 3 are already implemented in the shop floor. So the journey is fantastic. I would attribute it to my background, which is mechanical engineering, as well as higher education in terms of PhD, and then moved on to take up different roles. And that is another thing which you have to be open enough if you have to learn and move up the ladder, and not only in terms of corporate ladder, but really in terms of the knowledge and learning that you have to do. And the position, the designation, the power automatically comes to you. One thing you should very clearly remember is that you have to look at authentic work and not authority. I think that was one of the lessons for me in my career. So I think it was a long shot at my career. So I hope it has some lessons for you guys. Thank you.
So then you never know when you will run into them again. Just Nagesh, please.
Good morning all. So I'm Nagesh, a mechanical engineer from BMS College of Engineering in Bangalore. So right now I'm general manager.
Are you able to hear at the back?
Here right now, so as a general manager, so I'm at ACUS, so leading manufacturing engineering department. Okay, so I'm leading team of process planning, tool design, NC programming, CMM programming, configuration management. Okay, so this team, so major role is on industrialization and work transfer. So aerospace now hit peak. So many aerospace OEMs, so like Airbus and Boeing, so they want to industrialize so their components at India. So one is because of so low cost and so young engineers. So you're all so available. So nowhere in the world so many young talent and available. Okay. So that is the key thing. So aerospace OEMs are so looking at. So that is about my brief. And so before joining Acres, I was with HCL, and so I have around two decades plus experience in aerospace domain, and so I have hands-on experience, which added to my career growth. Okay, so as an engineer, we should work on shop floor, so get hands-on experience. Then only we can excel. Then we know the ground reality. So we can innovate. Okay. So that's what required to excel in our career. So that's a brief introduction about myself. Okay. Thank you.
That will be coming, but to just tell you, you must have come to IIT with a lot of work. You have out of 14 lakh, you became 2 lakh, then 10,000, and you are sitting here. So you are really a very coveted brains in this room. As I'm a mechanical engineer, so as I said, a mechanical engineer. Now I consider myself as electronics, instrumentation, all concurrent engineering. Engineering is when you study, it's only a 4 year you study and you become mechanical. After 30 years of career, you become how many engineers? you become a finance guy and all. So I run an industry in a place like Belgaum, and also we do very crazy things about space exploration, then fighter aircrafts, then nano satellites. We have a nano satellite lab, and then a nano motor. I want to just circulate one of the smallest 0.3 Newton motor, which is developed and it used in all every aircraft, combat aircraft, for pointing out the laser accurately up to 1 square inch. This thing, when do you just so. My dream is how can I make this motor in India? I've been working with Institute of Science Nanotechnology Lab, so that this is it has got a motor, it has got drive, everything. Just to connect to your ASIC, it starts oscillating and rotating, and it will create the torque. So engineering is not about what I mean innovation and writing papers and all. It's about converting that knowledge into a product and make them into millions. That's what we are there for. So